And so today we have a very exciting interview. Now I have a warning for you before you start this interview. If you have any junk food around and you have some food you have been meaning to eat in your kitchen, I advise you to eat it right now before you watch this interview for your own safety. Because after this interview, I doubt you'll be able to eat your fried rice in peace anymore. So today I'm going to interview the founder of Mulberry Agro. She's called Yetunde Oyeyemi. So, like I said, make sure you eat your junk food before the interview. Stay tuned for the rest. So let's dive straight into the interview. So seated beside me is the lovely Mrs. Yetunde Oyeyemi. So please say hi to the people.
Hi everyone.
Okay. So now, can you tell us a little about yourself?
I'm a married mother of 3 children.
Wow.
Ages 11, 9, and 4. I read sociology. I'm one of 2 children as well. I'm the eldest of 2. I'm from Nigeria. I'm from the Yoruba tribe. What else? I'm African. I'm a citizen of the world.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so you said you read sociology.
Yes.
So how does a sociologist become a founder?
Okay. Basically, the most basic definition of sociology is that it's a scientific study of human beings and the society. So every activity in the society can, can be observed in sociology, can become a topic. So whether in our attitudes, in our professions, occupations, it encompasses everything. So because, like for instance, in sociology, we have what we call urban sociology, we have rural sociology, we have medical sociology, we have sociology of almost everything.
Okay.
So I can swing any way I like.
Very
And I'll be
interesting.
safe.
So, recently, I saw a clip somewhere that a guy was an entrepreneur, and he said entrepreneurship is a talent. Do you believe in that statement? Do you believe that entrepreneurship is a gift? Or do you think there's your environment that put it into you?
I don't agree with that, the sentence you said, Carol. And the reason is that, let me go back to my sociology background. Like in my first year, one of the sentences I will forever remember that my lecturers always said was that there is no answer in sociology. So one of the reasons why I liked the course is that, I already had the confidence when I'm about to answer a question that no matter what I wrote in my exam script, I'll get some marks for it. It's like philosophy. Okay, they asked you, someone is sitting under a tree and coconut fell on his head. Mm-hmm. So what do you think happened? In a class of 30, everybody will give different answers and they'll still get marks. Because it could be any of those reasons. It could be that the wind blew, it could be that somebody shook the tree, it could be that it was about to fall and you came there at that time. It could just be anything. So talking about entrepreneurship as a talent or a gift, I don't think anyone has an innate or inborn trait to be an entrepreneur. Because it's something you can learn. It can come naturally to you. And like when you mentioned the environment comes to play. Because you can be influenced by several things in your surroundings to becoming an entrepreneur, even if you don't even know what an entrepreneur means. Because that's just a name coined by someone or some people. You could have been an entrepreneur until you got somewhere and you were told what you are doing is entrepreneurship. I've been many things before I knew how to define those things. That's why when the Bible says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, there's not a list of those things. I can do all things. But then what you decide to call it. Like in sociology, there was a time we were studying rebellion or being a rebel. A rebel is just somebody who does what the majority is not doing. And others will see him as non-conformist. But the fact that others see him as non-conformist now does not say whether that is a good thing or a bad thing. For instance, if you went to a prison yard and then you are dressed like this, everybody's in prison clothes, you are not conforming.
Yes.
But that doesn't make you a bad person. That's not where you want to be. But then, on the other hand, you could, somebody from the prison or a criminal could be in a room full of doctors and he will be the non-conformist. So it can swing both ways.
So you don't believe in it?
I don't believe that you can box someone into the definition of an entrepreneur. I believe it can be learned. It's a skill that you can learn. It's a way of thinking that you can grow into.
The reason why I ask this question is because we see people who have changed the world through entrepreneurship. You see people like Bill Gates, people like Steve Jobs, people who have pushed and changed the world. We refer to those people as great entrepreneurs. So those people, the reason I'm asking this question is there's a specific, you think that there are people, everybody can do entrepreneurship, but you think that there are specific people who can do entrepreneurship really well. That's what I mean by a talent.
Okay, let me remind you at this point that talking about entrepreneurship, you would want to link it to a business. Yes. Somebody who is making money out of an innovation. So in that, under that definition, you can't say that scientists bring out innovations all the time. They stumble on some things. We've seen where there are these guys in the laboratories mixing all sorts of liquids, and then they're like, bingo, they stumble on something. Does that make them entrepreneurs?
No.
We don't buy the chemicals from whatever they are mixing. We are not interested in buying them, but they are bringing out innovations after innovation, per time.
Yes.
But that doesn't make them entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurship is actually linked to, yes, it's an innovation. Yes, you are thinking differently from others, but at the background of that, eventually you're going to make money out of whatever that innovation is. That's what entrepreneurship is about.
Yes. So now let's switch a little. If she takes money from your high school days and then she asks a person, will Yetunde become an entrepreneur? What do you think the person will say?
Like I said, it took me years. At that time, that period in my life, you point at, entrepreneurship wasn't a word we tossed about a lot. Yeah. It wasn't something, I'm not sure if I knew that word at the time. So if you ask someone at the time, they might tell you, what I know for certain they can tell you is that she may not work for anybody. She would rather employ people. Because by the time I got into tertiary stage, when I got to the university, I actually went to a polytechnic before I went to the university, and it was something I just said casually all the time, that I'm an employer of labor. I'm an employer of labor.
Wow.
Yes. And funny enough, I've not done a regular 9-to-5 job before. I've taken part in researches, I've done academic work, I've done projects and all that, but it's always the closest thing I've done to a 9-to-5 is to work as a marketing researcher. It was for a new firm that was going. We're trying to get clients, for example. We're trying to see what the market, what the demand was like. So we all went back into the society just to get feel. I am a very, even if I say so myself, I'm a very good judge of character. I observe my environment a lot, and half the time, 90% or above that of the time, when I tell you about someone's character or a situation, if it's not obvious to you at the time, in no time you come around to admitting the same thing.
You just brought me right to my question. You brought me right to that question. The question is that there are some people who say that one of the most important things in business is learning how to read people. That's what you have just described, being a good judge of character. So can you mention to me any other important skill for business? What's the important skill an entrepreneur needs to succeed?
An entrepreneur, apart from being a good judge of character or situations, must be flexible, must be able to adapt to change if he's to survive, permit me to say, because the way the society is, anything can happen at any time. People are not, situations are not static, and people are not, they are not consistent, permit me to say. Somebody is blowing hot today, tomorrow is blowing cold. People's loyalty changes because of indices, either because of the returns or the rewards they are getting, the incentives, be it money or whatever, fringe benefits, and the like. So that person must be able to adapt. In entrepreneurship, in life generally, many things will happen to you, and it is your reaction to it that makes you survive that thing, or to get better. It can either be a lesson, you can be a victim of that thing, or you can learn from it and become a master of that thing.
That's true. Okay, so let's talk a little about your family. I mean, you're not your nuclear family right now. The family you grew up in. Were your parents, how was the environment like? Were they okay with you venturing into business for yourself?
By the time I was venturing into business, I was already an adult. So okay. There's really nothing, there's little or nothing they can do about that.
Oh, okay.
So.
But did your upbringing really influence your decision?
My father is still a lecturer of mechanical engineering.
Wow.
In a university. He's a doctor. My mom she had her first degree in catering and hotel management. And then she had a master's in agric extension.
Wow.
But that was not the influence. I had nothing to do with all those things. In fact, there was, apart from those things I told you from childhood, my fascination with how things grew. There was no time, when she said, well, why don't you take up this as a career or as a business? And this was when, years after I left home. And I think I would more say, rather than say they influenced me, I'll say it was born out of necessity.
Okay.
It was born out of a need that I had to feel. It was born out of a problem that I faced.
Okay.
I wasn't prepared for it. There was no strategy that at some point in my life, I'll take up agribusiness, as a business or anything. It was just those things I told you. I came into Ghana, I couldn't find the vegetables I wanted to eat. And then I saw that other families were complaining about the same thing. And then I started to grow, and then there was demand for it. And I came for this program, and they asked me for what idea I had. That was the only thing I could think of at that time. And it fell in place. It so happened that, nowadays, when people talk about agriculture, agribusiness, export and all the like, I didn't have all those things in my head at the time. I didn't know how viable it was as a business when I, started the business of it.
Wow.
Yes.
That's interesting. So let's move let's change the direction a little. Now, we want to talk about mobile agro. But before we talk about that, as we were speaking earlier before the interview, we're talking about how food is your medicine. Shall maybe
I know you're interested in that.
Maybe you want to throw out all the food by fresh. But we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So, how is food our medicine? Like that whole idea, how does it happen? How is it that what we eat is medicine? But from what we were talking about earlier, if we eat well, we wouldn't need drugs.
Okay. Before I come home to some of the discussions I've had with people of like minds, let me go to the fact that the individual who is regarded as the father of medicine today, do you know who that person is?
No.
Hippocrates. His name is Hippocrates. He was a Greek man. He said, there's a popular saying, let food be thy medicine, and so that medicine will not be thy food.
Wow.
So, but the part of it that is, commonly mounted is let food be thy medicine. Now, if the person, the medical world holds in high esteem, said let food be thy medicine, at what point, I've wondered over time, at what point did we get to let pills or let medication be your medicine or let tablets be your medicine. I don't know how we got here, really. And I'm sure if that man had a chance to live in our world today, he would be either shocked or, you know, he won't be in tune with this system we are running now. I don't know at what point, you know, doctors deviated. There are some doctors who still believe, who give you, you know, diet plans, food plans and all of that. But the generality of the orthodox medical world is not practicing food as medicine, sorry to say. So for me, in contemporary times, I've had discussions where, you know, we just admitted that your kitchen is like a laboratory, or sorry, your kitchen is like a clinic. So depending on, because in a hospital, let me say, in medicine, I am aware, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm aware that, you know, apart from giving you medication to treat an ailment that you have, there are times where there's something called, okay, let me not use that term, because it's been used for a whole lot of other things. But I'm aware that there are some instances where people are suffering from the symptoms or the outcomes of a disease or ailment that they are actually better off dead. Because there are terms that have been used in the medical world, like someone is in comatose, is in coma, is unconscious for months or for years. The person is no longer useful to society, useful to loved ones. They can't communicate with him. There's no relationship. But then the person is either on oxygen or is on life support for fluids. The person can't manage themselves anymore. And there have been instances I've heard that people have been injected, they've been let go. It's put mildly that they've been let go. But they have been injected so that they'll just go. You know. So medicine can either, you know, solve your, it's still solving the problem. So when we look at it like your kitchen is a clinic, you can actually have medication from it, or you can have poison from it. That's where I'm going. So if you say food, I believe so much that food is your medicine. Because all the nutrients you need ever, if you were to argue that, you know, you can't get, because these days people talk about supplements, they talk about pills and all of that. But there was a time these things were not existing and people were existing. How were they doing it? There was a time there were no hospitals. There were no doctors, so to say, the way we have them now. There was nobody taking any pills, but people were still existing. So how come? Those are the questions we should ask ourselves. If they could survive in those times. You know, these days we call them, we say, when we study history, we say we came from hunter-gatherer society, yes, or we came from, you know, agrarian society, or this or that. We've migrated from different kinds of society before we came to the industrial society and all that. But if we agree, those people lived longer, they had better health. That's why the fact that they were, you know, exposed to all sorts of environmental, the things we think are environmental hazards today. They slept out in the open, they ate in the wild, but they lived longer. How come? You know, we have so much protection, we are taking supplements, we are taking immunization and all of that, but here we are. People are dying before, you know, maybe average age for men and women is something between 50 and 55.
Yes, and women are higher.
That's why I say I just lumped the two. Because if you say men will be like maybe between 49 to 52, women will be like 52 to 55. Yes. So, but, and then in different societies, Africa is worse. But then I just take this to be the parts where, you know, I say knowledge is power. Yes. Ignorance is not bliss. Because yes, we can say those, we've come a long way. But then that's what should influence our study of these things. To ask ourselves the question. I didn't just stumble on sociology as a course. It was a well thought out decision I took. Because I looked at, I've had, you know, a discussion with someone before who took an interest in my business, and when we were talking, she's a lawyer, and she made a sentence and said, I should have read sociology. And then I'm like, she's way older than me. because it encompasses everything. When I was, studying sociology, I took courses in developmental psychology, that's child psychology. I took courses in social psychiatry. Okay. Because I was curious. I had a lot of questions, that while growing up, the adults around me could not answer for me. I was always curious and I asked a lot of questions. Yes, we say that children ask a lot of questions, but then, sometimes people don't get answers and they are quiet on it, or it fizzles out, their curiosity fizzles out. I always had questions, and some of those questions were, as simple as, it wasn't about inventions or why are airplanes flying, why are they not dropping and all that. There were simple questions like, why is this person behaving like this? Why am I different from, why is our family different from, in those days, they were weird questions to ask. They used to look at me like, she's at it again. I could read their expressions as well. When I ask those questions, I'm like, okay, why are we doing this thing? What's the reason why we are worshiping this way? And they're like, it's because that's how we met people. But I'm like, because we met people doing that does not mean we should do this. I used to have a lot of questions. Okay, why are we dressed this way? Is this all we have come to do? Wake, sleep, eat, interact, and all. There has to be more.
Yes. So you just brought me to another question. So before I go to that question, let's just tell people what does Mulberry Agro do? What crops do you grow? Why do you grow those crops?
Okay. Mulberry Agro is an agri-tech company, a startup. We grow organic foods, but we specialize in leafy green vegetables. And the reason why we specialize in leafy green vegetables is because I like to be focused on the urban environment. In the agricultural world, so to say, or when people look at agriculture from the outside, there's a general notion that it has to be done in the rural areas. They think that because there's wide expanse of land, they also think that the people there don't have much to do. So they should. Generally in Africa, agriculture is one of the oldest professions.
Yes.
Yes. And because Africa also is, I believe, or I assume, is the biggest continent. Or maybe not the biggest, but has the larger part being land. Because I'm aware that, because of the size of the oceans and all of that, some places are big, but they have a lot of water mass.
Yes.
But Africa has good land mass.
Yes.
So now, people assume that either the old people or the rural people or the illiterate people should be the ones to take up farming. But I say that if we leave it to those categories of people I've mentioned, we are undoing ourselves. The reason is that this is 2019. There's a lot that technology has to offer that can make agriculture easier. You can farm with better ease. There are so many technological inputs. Like for instance, in my own farm, I use the automated irrigation system. I don't have to go and be watching my come rain, come shine. My crops are growing all year round. So some of the reasons why I'm planting leafy green vegetables is that, and I concentrate on the indigenous ones. It's more tedious to grow the things that are not indigenous to your environment. These are all plants have origins, all seeds have origins, because sometimes some things are thriving in a particular location, but they will say originally, sourced from somewhere, or a native. The way we are saying, Caucasians, Africans, Black Americans all know that they all came from Africa. So even all the plants, they are native of somewhere or the other. I like to grow the things that are native to where I am. If I find myself living in Germany today, or Canada, or Russia, in as much as I will take as many seeds as I can from Africa, I know already that the things I met in that terrain will grow better and faster than what I will do everything to grow all the plants I'm growing now. But it may be challenging. So another reason why I've decided to specialize in leafy green vegetables is because they are short term compared to other plants. Like fruit trees, for instance. Like the first time I grew pineapple, either because I don't know a better method, because they are still organic things. Organic generally may grow for longer. But when we say longer, that's a natural process. It's like saying a woman who is supposed to carry a baby in her womb for 9 months. So because doctors have found a way for her to carry it for 6 months, then people are now going to the hospital to say, I want to sign a document that I want to grow it for longer, for 9 months. 9 months is not longer, that's a natural order. Yes. But these days we make organic farming look like something you are doing away from the normal, but that is the normal. But we left it and we went to do, in quotes, abnormal things. For example, we started growing with synthetic chemicals. We wanted to hasten the growing process so that we can have our harvest quicker than normal. Organic is the normal thing. So when you say you want to go into organic farming, you are only doing what is right, what used to be, what is the natural order of things. So the reason why we are growing leafy green vegetables is because they are short term compared to other plants. We have vegetables that can grow in as short time as 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, and max 90 days. Anything that goes beyond 90 days. Not because we don't like to grow them. We still grow them, but we have the urban population in mind. We have the indices, the peculiarities of a health-conscious urban person, which includes the fact that they are highly mobile. People change jobs, people relocate, at the snap of the finger. So if they did container gardening, for instance, they can scoop up their plants and take with them. If they did backyard, they could have been saving seeds. It won't be any trouble to leave everything behind and start all over again. You won't feel pained about leaving anything behind. But imagine you grow a lemon tree that has not fruited in 3 years. Maybe the first signs of fruit should have come in 5 years, and then you have to move. Just when it has happened to me before. Just when I'm supposed to be enjoying the fruits of my hard labor, then I have to move. So will I say because of lemon tree? Then I got I got a job that pays me $2,000 per week or per month. Maybe double what I'm getting now, or better standards of living for my children, for my family. So I'll say because of this lemon tree, I'm not moving. It doesn't make sense. Yes. So, but if it's vegetables, that's fine. I'll go and start all over. I've had to start all over again many times. My own personal backyard garden. Wow. All the time.
So, can you mention some of the vegetables that you grow?
Yes. I'll start with ugu. As expected.
The famous ugu.
Yes. Ugu is the local name for fluted pumpkin leaves. Now, when you hear pumpkin, there are different species of pumpkin. The popular one is the one that is used during Halloween in the US. Yes. So people carve it. They use it to make treats and all those sorts of things. But that's not the pumpkin I'm talking about. That one has a soft flesh. Sometimes it can be orange or yellow. Then depending on the terrain in which it is grown, it can be any size. But the fluted pumpkin has a hard casing. It's oblong, it's long, it's not round. Okay. The casing is hard and it's ribbed. It has like these rough lines. Look at it like you would look at the popular species of okra we have in Ghana, for instance. Yes. There are 2 types. There's one that has a smooth skin, yes, and there's one that has a rough skin. It's ribbed like that. So look at like times 100 or 150 of that. Wow. That's how big it can be. And it's ribbed like that, and the casing is hard. When you tap on it, it's like calabash. So you have to break it open and get the seeds from inside. So that's ugu. Then we have some local names include, in Ghana, there's a leaf called boko boko. In Nigeria, in my own language, we call it buri. But generally in English, not the scientific name now, English people call it water leaf. Okay. Because when you are cooking, it brings out a lot of water. It keeps, depending on what quantity you are using, your soup or stew, and just can be swimming ground. But it's a good source of fiber.
Okay.
It's a good source of water. I don't know if you've come across some pictures where they say, eat your water. Water is good. You know, we've been told medically that it's good to take between 8 glasses of water, or you can say between 2 liters and 4 liters of water per day.
Yes.
Yes, but we sometimes don't like to drink water. Some people prefer to take flavored water and all sorts. But if you take a lot of food that has water content, e.g. cucumber, watermelon, all those kind of things, it helps you also to have fluid in your body. So water leaf has a lot of water content. Then there's amaranth. Amaranth is a leaf that is native to many areas. Because I did a course on, I did a master diploma on, master herbalist diploma actually.
Wow.
Yes, because contrary to what people think, that an herbalist is somebody who has white dots all over and chanting incantations and all that. Herbalist is just someone who studies herbs.
So no incantations?
No.
That's
No voodoo, no juju, no nothing. Just
taking away
herbs.
the fun part.
Taking away the African magic part. I understand. So, amaranth, we have different kinds. We have purple, we have red, we have green. You know, I grow a certain species, like 2 species. So there are some that are native of the UK, of the US, of several places.
Yes. Yes. You forgot to mention my favorite vegetable.
Which one is that?
The one that you use in place of tomato.
Okay, that's cucumerina.
Yes, that's my favorite one.
Okay, so I grow cucumerina. Cucumerina, maybe you might have some inkling. It sounds like cucumber. It actually looks like cucumber, only that is the length can be anything from 5 times the length of cucumber to 10 or 15 times. I've seen places like, I've been in India for 2 months. In places like India, they could grow, we usually stake it so that it can hang. Depending on how high the stake is, it can grow that much length. Wow. It can grow like the length of this room. It can grow that long. And then some curl up, you know, some grow straight like that. But mine has, you know, mine does not grow that long. Even though, you know, as the years go by, I'm getting bigger fruits from it. So I also have, and then that's a tomato alternative because it grows from green to red.
Okay.
And then you can blend it and you can't tell the difference.
Yes.
You can use it to cook your jollof, your stews, whatever it is, stir fry, whatever. Once you blend it, you can't tell the difference between that and tomato, except, you know, I wouldn't say except somebody who really knows it is. But if I cook both for you, you can't even tell the difference. That's the truth. So
I just imagine eating green jollof.
But then there are people who make snacks, who make green snacks. People who make healthy food, healthy snacks.
Okay.
You know, in place of flour, not in place. They do flour, but then they put powdered ugu or powdered any other kind of leafy green that is powdered as green. They add it to the flour. Even bread. So you can have green bread. You can have green tortillas. You can have green pancakes.
Sounds interesting.
You can Google it up. You can check on Instagram. There's so many pictures of green stuff. You know, because green is life.
Green jollof.
That would be something. I could cook it specially for you.
I don't think I want to eat it.
But then, you see, that's what people do. But when they get to a certain stage, where a doctor tells them, this is the only thing that can make you live.
Beyond, keep on bringing me to my next question.
Beyond 1 month. So they are just like, please give it to me. Nobody wants to die.
So far during your career, can you mention some of the diseases that you have helped people out with?
Okay, this question is tricky. It's a topic I don't like to go into, not because I have anything to hide, but because there's a lot of arguments, there's a lot of, there's a lot of back and forth things around this topic. At this point, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not an authority in orthodox medicine or alternative medicine. but I can talk about my own personal experience. Like I said, I used to have a lot of questions. I still always do have, questions. I'm always curious about a lot of things. But I'm able to know that we are living, apart from the lifestyle we are living, things are different from how they used to be. I'm always wondering why. Sometimes I stumble on the reasons, and then I've taken my own personal convictions and I've decided on what I want to do with myself. And so far, it has worked. Now, I've had close associates, loved ones, who used to be curious or who didn't think I was doing anything worthwhile. But then, they had some threats, they had some symptoms, and they were trying to get treated for those illnesses and diseases, to the point that they were almost hopeless. So the reason why they decided to try to do what I was doing or take my advice is at that point they didn't have anything to lose again. They were like, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen? Because maybe sometimes at that point you've been told you have so number of months to live, sadly. Or, all your organs are, you need replacement, you need organ transplants and all sorts of things. So then they decide, okay, let me try this. Okay, if you really say food is medicine, tell me the kinds of foods I can take. Because food is medicine does not mean, you know how the Bible says, all things are good, all things are lawful. No, all things are good, but not all things are lawful or necessary for you. We all say, the world is good. God looked at the world and saw that everything was good. But in this same world, there's nuclear weapon. Mm-hmm. In this same world, floods, hurricanes are happening and all that. So you pick your poison or your food or your medicine. So, and then in the same vein, I carry out a lot of research. Research simply means, it doesn't mean I have to be in a laboratory because we have a lot of information that Africa is, compared to the rest of the world, we are really low on data. We don't have a lot of records. Yes. So the difference between the Western world and Africa is the abundance of data or the lack thereof. So they have data to fall back on, they can review, they can say, okay, they have something to compare. But Africa, I can only say, okay, my great-grandfather was so. In the days of our forefathers, we have stories, we have folk tales, which is not good enough. Yes. So, but then I carry out a lot of research. They are not academic researches. But then I know that, you can have some kinds of food that are beneficial for people of a certain blood group as against other ones. For example, my blood group is O. Then under O we have O positive, O negative. Some people are A. Under A we have O positive, O negative. Then we have B. Then we have AB. So people who have carried out researches, professionals, have made us know that there are some certain foods or fruits or vegetables or meats. There are classes of food: protein, carbohydrates, fats and oils, starch, fiber, and all those things. There are some that may be good for you, whatever your blood group is, that may not be beneficial to me. There are some things I need to concentrate on. There are some things I need to avoid. Yes, if I eat it once in a while, it's still food. Not that it will harm me. But if I say because of my environment or because of what is available, because sometimes we are growing up and we are eating what is available in our environment, does not mean that's what's good for us. It's just because that's what's available. In some families, they grew up eating gari and okro. That was what they had. Or garden egg stew. It's still food, it's still nutritious, but not for you to take every day. You can eat gari every day and then your eyesight will be affected. But then you can eat even the vegetables too. It's not all vegetables that are good for everybody. Especially, long term. You can't eat a certain kind. There's no certain kind of food you should eat, forever only. That's why there's something called balanced diet. You should balance it out. In between proteins, carbohydrates, fats and oils, and all of that. Okay. So it is at that stage when you get to start exhibiting symptoms because of the kind of diet you've taken, that they start telling you, okay, have a food plan, have this, have that, so that you can recover from, the effects of what you've done.
So if I get you right, what you basically do is that you don't specifically target the disease. You just give the person food that the person can eat, that has nutrition, that is good to his blood group. If I get you right, is that it?
Yeah, what I would say is, using the word, I don't cure diseases.
Okay.
I don't treat ailments. But in my journey, I've come across people who are living with one lifestyle disease or another. We call it lifestyle disease because all diseases emanate from your lifestyle, from the foods you are eating, the way you are living your life. Okay. If you always expose yourself to cold all the time, chances are that you have something. There are some things that are genetic, they are inherited, they are hereditary. They are already in your cells, your blood cells. So, like for instance, we all have certain things. They may not be obvious, they may not be a problem right now. Okay, let's talk about cancer. Do you know that everybody has a tendency to have cancer?
Yes, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. So, but there are some things you can do to accelerate, the advent of cancer, or in your lifetime you would never have it. Then somebody who doesn't have cancer might have his kids have, not because they inherited. Everybody has a tendency to be anything. But depending on what you do or don't do, you may or may not have it. So now, when I see people who have certain things, if I have that rapport with them, I want to find out what the doctor has said, because they are the certified people. They've carried out tests. We are talking about figures, data, and indices. So there are certain tests that have been carried out, and the person has been diagnosed. I say, accepted. The person has been given medication, accepted. I'm not saying throw away your medication. But because I know, or I can research on the kind of things that are beneficial to you because of your blood group, or because of the things you need to stop doing. Maybe you've been taking fried foods, you've been doing all sorts of things, and it has become a problem. Everybody shouldn't take some certain things, but they are not showing up because they are not showing up yet. Does not mean it's fine to take. But we don't want to get to that part, to that point when, there's a life threat. Okay. So when I look at those things, I just want to say, add these things to your food, take out these things, and let's see what happens. And over time, good things have happened.
That's great.
I'll put it like that.
So if let's say somebody is watching us right now, the person does not know, he's not your friend, and then the benefit of you doing that for him or her, and the person also wants that kind of service, do you provide that service too? I
do. By service, I assume you are talking about starting the organic farm.
No. No, I mean, that's a very good one.
So if I get what you're saying, somebody is living with a lifestyle disease.
It's a lifestyle disease.
Yes, or is already showing some symptoms. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I collaborate with some nutritionists, with some health practitioners who, because basically what I do is grow food. Yeah. I grow organic food. But my curiosity has made me grow beneficial foods. Let me put it that way. I like to research into the medicinal and curative foods. It's not all foods. Yeah, all foods are medicinal or curative in some mild form or the other, but some are potent. They address certain things. So those are the things I've researched on. So if somebody came to me, for instance, and said, okay, I have high blood pressure, I have diabetes, I have so, and they're already on medication, that's fine. But I can promise you that after you've known me for a while, you do your test again, and your doctor will ask you, where have you been going, or have you been doing something else? That's been my experience. I will not go too personal, but I've had someone who, visited the doctor again, and the doctor said, is there something else you're taking apart from these medicines I've given you? And then she said, oh, yes, the doctor was surprised because this is not, they have a prediction already that, you know, as you're taking this medicine, this is what I'm supposed to be saying, this is what, so when they're not saying that, they ask you such questions, are you doing something else apart from, but this is positive now.
Wow.
But in my own opinion, they should be happy. But then sometimes, you know, sadly, I've met people who are not happy about those things. They're like, really? Somebody, yes.
Like we're angry.
Well, they didn't put it like that, but even the person who was the patient had to say, at least you're happy for me. At least this is what you know, you should be happy that getting a positive result. Yeah. And then the guy went on to say, you know it's dangerous for you to take anything outside of, you know, what you have been given in the hospital. Yes, because it can counteract, you don't know all of these things. But the point is right now, there's no counteract. And right now you don't test. And my skills have moved, you know, into positivity. You should be happy for me. That's what the woman's pain point was. Because she used to be caught, she used to have fluid taken out from her at different times. And all of that stopped. And then when she traveled outside the country, she went to the US. The last test that was carried out from her, what the doctor told her in layman terms is that the fluids are drying up from inside, so she doesn't need to be cut again. Wow. And ever since then, she hasn't been cut. She has been cut a number of times.
Wow. Naturally, the problem was solved.
Naturally, it was solved. Because it's like you have, you know, fluids, like pus or something from the inside. She says they take out fluid from her in liters. Least being maybe 1 or 1.5 liters. Wow. And then now, the last time they cut out, they apologized to her because they are taking something in milliliters, like maybe 20 or 30 ml. Okay. And the doctor said, we shouldn't have even cut you because it's drying up from inside. Wow. Madam, we are sorry, we will never cut you again because whatever it is you are doing, and that's where sometimes, you know, I don't know the focus or the goal. Maybe I should safely say it's a personality thing. I don't want to attack doctors in any way. You know, I don't know. Because I found a difference between those doctors there and the ones, you know, she was seeing in Africa, in the country. The doctor there was happy for her. He was like, he apologized. And this one was like, who is that person? What have you been taking? Who have you been talking to? Like,
he wanted to get his hands on you.
You know, so.
Okay, let's move a little. So, if let's say it's a young person, some people don't know that you have this programs organized for young women to train them in organic farming. Yeah. So can you give some brief, and just introduce it to us briefly?
Okay, I work from the co-working space at iSpace. If anyone was interested in, you know, in starting up an edible garden, and I'm sure with a lot of young people, their interest may be from the angle of earning income. I understand that, and you know, I don't blame them for it. A lot of young people these days, permit me to say money is the focus. But then, even if money is your focus, welcome to the club. You will make money. I say you will make money because, you see, agribusiness is a very large field. There's something we call value chain. It's like any other kind of chain. It's a long chain. There are different points of it. There are so many designs on a regular chain. But a chain is a chain. So take, for instance, what I'm doing. I've talked earlier on about the soil. You can just be providing rich soil to people who want to grow, and you're in agribusiness. Wow. Now, I talked about the soil tester. You can just go and, short of saying you formulate your own, they are existing in the market already. You can go and be buying. For those who don't know, they need to test their soil. You can go and be buying and provide them for the farmers. Because you know it's a key point to having good yield. Then we talk about fertilizers. So if I'm saying I'm still doing organic, everybody thinks, not everybody, sorry. Some people think that fertilizer means you spray chemical on your crops. No. Fertilizer can range from, organic fertilizer can range from cow dung, poultry manure, or there's something we call FPJ. It stands for fermented plant juice. Wow. You can make fertilizer from plants themselves. Then there's something called compost. Every waste from edible things. But now, all of these things I mentioned have to be organic as well. What do I mean? If you are getting cow dung, the cows have to be fed organically.
Okay.
You know, sometimes some animals are injected with hormones to make them fatten up quickly. We are talking about reducing the process. Some hens, the chicken, the birds, they are injected and they have antibiotics in their water and all of that. Their waste too will not be organic.
Yes.
So they have to be organically grown or reared before they are waste. So I personally, I don't use cow or poultry, except I rear them myself, so I know they are thoroughly organic. So I prefer to use FPG. I use fermented manure. So you can be providing manure or fertilizer for farmers, and then you can be growing. Like for instance, I sell seedlings because the plants can't go round. So I nurse them. I can be selling seedlings alone for those who want to grow or start their own gardens. Then I can be selling herbs as ready to cook or ready to eat. Then the part you'll be interested in, you can be selling cooked food. You know, getting them from ethically sourced places, organic food. Because, you see, there are a lot of people who might need your services. For instance, look at the number of hospitals we have. Look at the number of patients in those hospitals. Think of it like the doctor has said, okay, this is your medication, but make sure you eat balanced diet, make sure you eat right. But the parent is out, the patient is out of hospital. Day one, they don't have the strength to cook, or they don't feel like cooking, depending on what kind of family, how large their family is. Even if their family is large, I've had people, even relatives, go to give birth abroad. But the people they stayed with, not because they were wicked, they didn't have time for them. Yes. They were all going to their own working place. So the person had to be eating takeout and ordering food from the restaurants. You know, so you can fill in that gap and be cooking for a specific class of people. Maybe patients who are recuperating, or we now have, little by little, we are having old people's homes, aged homes, and all that. You can be cooking for such people, or people who have just given birth, who need a particular kind of diet. There are so many things to do along this chain, so many ways to make money. That you won't go ritual, you won't go ritualistic. You don't have to cut off anybody's head, you don't have to kidnap anybody, and you will make money very well.
So you teach people how to do this?
Yes.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, let me not say, I've come to discover that, you know, there was a time I always wondered too, when some things, some thoughts, or some ideas come to me, and then I'm like, I would think that everybody else knows. And when I say it, everybody says, wow, I see. Like, really, they are just saying. So I now then discover that it's not possible. I can't be the only one in the whole world. I'm sure there are some people who, you know, have ideas, and the people in their surroundings. So it's not a problem if people don't see the things the way you see them. That's why, you know, in developed countries, the fact that a musician or an artist is singing a song, comes out with a debut, a record, or whatever, does not mean they wrote that song. They've been given the song. Somebody else is a songwriter only. He doesn't sing. You know, they've divided labor so much that there's division of labor. Everybody specializes in one. When it's broken down like that, it's easier. But in Africa, we don't know how to do that. But we need to learn it. We need to learn. When we chop these things up in bits, everybody has, you know, less pressure on them to do everything.
And can easily function. And it's more efficient.
Yes. So that I can do all things through Christ, who strengthens me. My own interpretation is I can employ the people that can do the things I can't do. Because it's still doing all things. The ability to think.
Yes. It's
still the ability to recognize who you need in your team. The ability to know who, you know, can do what. Because the fact that somebody needs a job does not mean I will employ that person. The person might not be useful to me. So rather than do trial and error, try this person for 6 months, fire him, and then the job is suffering. The ability to even know that person is part of being able to do all things. So for young people, they have no problem blaming the government, blaming their parents, blaming their generation, their village witches. They should leave the village witches alone. The village witches have no idea what you are even talking about. Because when you start to use technology, when you employ technology and things are working, the village people will ask you, please, how did you do it? They will know that even being a witch is not lucrative. Really. You know, so there's a lot of things to do. So I'm very open. I'm very excited to work with young people. either by giving them the ideas or training them in what area they need to go, or referring them to, if that person is not me, referring them to someone else.
Can you give out your email address or your contacts?
Oh yes.
Your Facebook handle, your Instagram handle, people to contact you?
Sure. So you can send an email to moberryagro@gmail.com. Moberryagro is MOBERYAGRO@gmail.com. Facebook, same name. We have a Facebook page, Moberry Agro. We have the Twitter handle is also Moberry Agro. Instagram handle, Moberry Agro. No hyphens, no underscores, no dots. All small caps. All small letters. So you can WhatsApp. If you are outside Ghana, you can use the code +233 and then 249. WhatsApp is +233 26 739 1481. For those in Ghana, that will be 026 739 1481. And for calls, you can call 0249 70 4818. Outside Ghana, you can use +233 24 970 4818. Thank you.
Okay. So before we end, I would like you to say something to two groups of people. The first one, to talk to women in business and women who think they can't enter into business. Say something to encourage them. And the last,
business or agribusiness?
And to agribusiness specifically. Then the last thing is also to speak to young people and encourage them.
Okay. So firstly, for women who either don't have what they are doing now, maybe they are not employed, or they would like to do more to earn money, I'd like to say that you can start with what you have. You can start in that space you have that you are thinking is too small. So if you have a backyard that's, in fact, all the better if it's not being used for some time, because if weed or non-edible plants have been grown in a certain place for a long time, you can plow it in. That means there's a chance that that soil is even rich because it's been covered. We have cover crops. It's been shaded from the sun. They are so, the biosystem is healthy because a lot of organisms have been playing around in the soil and putting their waste in it and all that. So you can start from there. You can decide to start using containers. By containers, you can decide to use your old wooden drawers, your old buckets that are broken or leaking, your sacks, your rice sack, bean sack, any kind of sack, those white sacks, you can use them. You can use any container, bowls, all those things you will have thrown away or they are just lying around in a pile. You can start to grow in them. You can use rubber bags, you can use just anything. But when you start, I can assure you, there's a saying that when the student is ready, the teacher will show up. Once you have made your desire known to God, permit me, I'm not going too spiritual, but there's something about the forces of nature. Everything works together to help you to accomplish that purpose. I believe strongly. It's just like when somebody wants to perpetrate evil as well. Premeditation. The more you think about it, you just see that all the things that will help you carry out that thing will start to show up. You get offers and all that. Earlier on, I talked about land. I've been offered land 3 times, free of charge, to farm on. Just because I just enjoyed, I didn't approach those people. I just enjoyed what I was doing. And while, minding my business, I got those offers. So for women, you can start from anywhere. Then you can determine what you want to start with. Are you starting because you want to earn income from it? You can start to grow herbs. You can go and find out, you can do a little research and ask people around what they really want and grow those things specifically. Then you can grow your own for food, for your family, but grow the ones that people are ready to pay you money for. So I encourage you, there's plenty room in the agribusiness field. And then for young people, I've been talking about the value chain. You are agile, you are young, you have so many opportunities. You can even just learn and then teach other people, even if you don't want to go into farming. Look at the lecturer. The lecturers in those faculties, faculty of agric, of engineering, they are not fabricating all those things. They are teaching the people how to do it, but chances are that, apart from project work and all that, those people may not have, they know it theoretically, they may not have done the practical side of it. So if you think that you are eloquent, you have a good memory, you like to study, academic people, they are not carrying out any practical thing, but there's also room, because how will we be able to carry the message across? Like what I'm doing now, you may be watching this online, maybe on YouTube or some other medium. What if I just knew these things and I wasn't even farming at all? What if you read up about all these things and then you sensitize people? Something as simple as, knowing that there are foods for certain blood groups, or knowing that, there are some herbs that you can incorporate into your daily diet that can enhance certain things or keep you away from certain things. Look at bitter leaf, for instance. We have it all around us, but sometimes it's just decorative. Some people use it to make the border of their compounds. They use it to separate their land, and they've never tasted it before. But permit me to tell you that this same bitter leaf has been taken, to some countries and made into capsules, and you now use it to treat either malaria or typhoid fever. But we have it raw. We could have been eating it every day, and your body will be immune to certain things. I, for one, apart from giving birth, I don't go to the hospitals at all. I say it's by the grace of God, because it's the same God who has provided all these things for us, but we are not making good use of them. So for youth, there's a lot to do. So you can use any of the contacts and you can also read up on your own. I would like you to, get curious today about these things and see if truly what I'm even saying holds any salt at all. Thank you.
While you're talking, I just had an idea. Perhaps maybe you don't want to farm yourself, but you can become a food influencer, a healthy food influencer, become a food blogger.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who's listening to this, you don't want to farm, but you're interested in healthy food, you can check it out. Start a blog on healthy food, the blood groups and everything. And link up with me and see what happens. Okay, so we have come to the end of the interview. Hope you enjoyed it. Now, Joshua Essandoh, I'm wondering whether to throw out your food from your fridge or not. Don't worry, you're in the same boat with me. Before I started this interview, I was also wondering what to do myself. But if you have any questions, any comments about the interview we had today, something we said we should really understand or further clarification, just leave comments below. Like and subscribe to the channel too, to get more updates on the new videos we're doing. Soon should be releasing a series on how to start your own organic farm from scratch. So those people out there who want to start their own farm, don't know how to do it, just stay tuned to the channel. Like and follow Mulberry Agro on Facebook and Instagram. Like and follow Sharks Hive on Facebook and Instagram. And you get to see greater things ahead. Thanks for watching. See you next time.